Welcome back, AP Gov students. Today is chapter 13 of Keeping the Republic, titled Interest Groups. If you don't have Keeping the Republic, it's fine because the content is still going to be the same. I'm going to be going over all the key terms and notes for this chapter to help me get a 5, so I encourage you to take notes along as well. Collective action problems that surround a collective good, they serve as the basis for how interest groups are formed. So the reason why interest groups pop up is because they rally around a certain issue, and this issue most likely affects a lot of people because that is the best way for the interest groups to gain a lot of attention and a lot of members. Free riders, people who benefit from problems being solved without contributing. These people plague interest groups that surround large issues. People can reap the benefits without helping the interest group. So essentially, if the issue the interest group is targeting is a very broad and large issue, people don't necessarily have to participate in the interest group or try to get things done to reap the benefits when the interest group is successful. And this is a natural problem for interest groups that challenges the groups to put out more incentives to get people to join other than just having the issue be solved successfully. Selective incentives, benefits for membership. This system is the main way for interest groups to attract members, donors, and contributors. Again, this is how interest groups attract members and solve the free rider problem. Material benefits, tangible rewards. They provide physical items that keep people involved in the interest group. This isn't money because then it would just be like basically being an employee, but it gives people like stickers and like bumper stickers, signs, tokens, medals, whatever it is, to allow the member of the interest group to have an item that signifies their membership. Solidary benefits, natural enjoyment and experience in participating like in the group and in politics. Interest groups want to keep their members active and involved in order to retain their support. So interest group leaders want to encourage their members to do things, participate, and they want to make members feel like they are helpful and they are participating in a positive way. Expressive benefits, the mental rewards for committing to values. Interest groups provide an opportunity for people to actively fight for their values and beliefs. For people who want to be politically active, an interest group is a very easy way to do so. And being involved in any sort of group is almost like a natural ego boost for anybody who wants to be involved in society and do things to help their community. Lobbying, influencing politicians to do things, this is what interest groups do. This is one of the main functions of interest groups. Lobbying has evolved into a large network of institutions, all aiming to influence government. So lobbying, like talking to politicians and trying to influence them, isn't actually like any type of casual thing. There are whole lobbying networks and lobbying institutions that help interest groups lobby in the most effective ways. There's all sorts of like psychology behind lobbying and how to set up meetings in a successful way. How do you get a politician to actually do something for you? It's actually quite complicated. Economic interest groups want to economically benefit from political action. They involve mostly corporations and business associations, which can be very powerful. These economic groups often have access to the most resources, or at least more resources compared to other type of interest groups, because they are backed by businesses and corporations with large amounts of money. Equal opportunity interest groups tailored to civil rights issues. They advocate for moral issues, which can be incredibly effective in getting people involved. These interest groups fight things like racism, gender inequality, homophobia, things like that. Public interest groups try to benefit the entire populace. They surround larger issues that are not only beneficial to their members. The most popular and notable type of interest groups are public interest groups. The only ones you're really going to encounter in the AP Gov textbooks, whatever you're reading, if it's Keeping the Republic or something else, are public interest groups because those are the ones that really matter the most. Government interest groups represent smaller or foreign governments. They help other governments try to influence the national government to better relations or give resources. So there could be some interest groups on behalf of state governments, local governments, or a collective group of foreign governments. For example, you could have a group of people from the Middle East who are advocating for some type of oil thing. Direct lobbying, actual contact with politicians, it can be very influential depending on the conversation that takes place. There are rules behind direct action. So this type of direct contact, direct talking to politicians is very powerful, but there are rules and regulations. For example, you can't just go up to a politician, give them like $1,500 and then ask for some type of political action. That's not allowed. There's actually a funny rule where you can't even take someone out to lunch and like buy them a burger or something, because that would technically be buying something for them or giving them money or bribing them. There's all these weird technicalities when it comes to direct lobbying. Indirect lobbying, creating public pressure. The voices of the public putting pressure on the government as a whole can be very effective in getting people in government to take action. So interest groups can try and rally support, especially now on like social media, to put pressure on politicians to respond. In this way, they can influence politicians without actually having to go to them and talk to them directly. Revolving door, system of public officials becoming lobbyists. Since former public officials have the most knowledge of government, lobbying firms want to hire them, which can lead to improved results, but also corruption. There are some rules and regulations surrounding hiring public officials to become lobbyists directly out of their office. However, even if there's some sort of like grace period or something, it's still very powerful because oftentimes public officials who become lobbyists, even if it takes a few years to become a lobbyist, they still know a lot about who is in government and how they can influence them. Grassroots lobbying, lobbying done by the people for the people. This type of lobbying is hard to grow, however the benefits are great for the people if they are successful. So this type of lobbying starts with a low amount of resources, it usually starts in a local area, but if it can grow, gain members, it becomes very powerful because not only do they grow in size, but they also have the morality on their side of being that grassroots group. AstroTurf lobbying, lobbying done by elites and has elite interests in mind. It is unfortunately the most effective form of lobbying because elites have access to the most resources. This is another reason why economic interest groups are very powerful because they are this AstroTurf lobbying type thing. They have the most resources, the most money to get on the ground and influence people. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter, and goodbye. Yo, if you're super cool and awesome, you should follow my Twitter or X if you're that kind of person. It's at Clark4724. I post a lot of random stuff on there, but I also post channel updates and when my next videos are coming out. So if you're gonna keep watching my channel, then I recommend you follow, and thanks.